So FICO has just released the new FICO Resilience Index, and for those that don't know, this is a tool that they've released to be used by the credit bureaus that's ultimately going to be used in decisions on who gets approved for loans, what credit card limits look like, and definitely who even gets approved for certain credit cards. This could be a very huge change to the credit card community, and it's a lot to unpack. Let's talk about it.
I don't wanna wait for our lives to be over. Okay, I really gotta learn the rest of those words. But until then, what's going on YouTube? Welcome to Mike's Travels and Cents, where I go over points and travel strategies, and more importantly, how not to go broke while enjoying it all. If that sounds good to you, consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss future content like this. And if you found some value in this video, drop me a like to let me know. But with all that out of the way, let's get into the video. All right, so today we're going to be looking at the FICO Resilience Index, which is a tool from FICO, the company, which we'll get into what FICO is and why that's so important later in the video. But just know it's a tool from FICO that's given to the credit bureaus, which is really going to impact the way lending as a whole, even outside of credit cards, is going to be done in the future. And this is going to be huge. This may really shake some things up for us people that really like to get a lot of credit cards, like to get a lot of points. This may change everything. But before I get into that, I've got some news that I do want to share, but I'll save it to the end of the video. So just stick around to the end of the video if you want to catch that news. That's going to be some big news. This is a big video. Big news, big news, big news. Let's get into it. All right, so the best place to start is with what FICO actually is. And this is important for those that aren't really familiar with the way credit and credit scores and the credit bureaus and all that stuff works. So I'm going to explain this very simply because it's important moving forward. So FICO is basically like a master chef, right? And you have the three credit bureaus, which are Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. So think of the credit bureaus, they like gather up all their own individual ingredients, right? And they take their individual ingredients. So Equifax will take its ingredients to FICO, and these ingredients are representative of your actual credit report. So all the stuff that you have open, what you've paid on time, what your income is, all that stuff, your credit report. So these individual credit bureaus will take their individual credit reports to FICO, and FICO is like the chef with the special skills, and it has a secret sauce, which is the algorithm that it uses on those ingredients to come up with your credit score. This is why each of the credit bureaus have different credit scores, because they each have their own credit reports that they basically push through FICO, and then FICO runs its own algorithm and generates the credit score. That's loosely the way it works. I may have explained it really well so you understand, or I may have jacked it up, but essentially the credit bureaus, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, they give their credit reports to FICO essentially, and then FICO applies its algorithm credit score magic to it, and then boom, out comes your credit score. And each one of your credit scores is based on the things that are reported to each of those credit bureaus. That's the short of it. All right, so now I think we have a pretty good understanding of the whole credit score process and what FICO's role in all of this is, right? And now you might be thinking, okay, yeah, that's cool, I get it, but what role does this whole FICO Resilience Index actually think play in, and how is this actually going to change the way I get approved for credit cards or lending in general? Cool. Well, the thing is, according to Experian, one of the credit bureaus, since they're one of the actual people that have the FICO Resilience Index info on their page, essentially businesses or lenders kind of want to know, thanks to the situation we're in, this pandemic, they kind of want to know answers to questions like which 680s are more likely to still keep paying off their debts even during a pandemic. And this is very important. See, right now, your credit score is really only a reflection of whether you pay things back on time, your utilization, how long, basically your average age of accounts. So things like that, it doesn't really take into account your occupation or how likely you are to pay back money in big economic crisis, and think things like the Great Recession or the pandemic that we're in right now, or just all the craziness that we're in right now. And so, and I'm showing this image right now, and these are the kind of things that this FICO Resilience Index can be used for. And this new tool is basically going to factor in a number of things. It's essentially another secret formula from FICO that's going to have a big impact on whether you can get approved for certain lending or certain credit cards, and it's going to take into account, I'm assuming, essentially like how stable your potential industry might be. So right now, certain industries are just crushed. Like there's no chance of people in certain industries paying back huge sums of money. So they're pretty much gonna have very low resiliency index scores. And as you can see, the resilience index is gonna be on a 1 through 99 scale, with 1 being unemployed and 99 basically being Jeff Bezos. So with this being a credit card focused channel, let's take a look at how this might actually more impact credit card people like us, right? So if you look back at that image where it essentially says refine acquisition strategies. So my interpretation means this may mean certain people in certain industries may actually, essentially, if you have a higher resilience index rating or whatever, you might actually get targeted for like a higher sign-up bonus or something, because you're a more valuable customer to these lending companies or these credit card companies. So you're a more valuable customer, whereas somebody on the lower side of that scale may actually end up either getting a lower bonus offer, or they may get a smaller credit limit. And this is going to be very, very significant because, as you know, your credit utilization plays a huge part in your credit score. So if you're somebody that usually spends maybe $2,000-$3,000 a month on your credit card, but your credit limit is like $40,000-$50,000, it's not huge. But now if you can't even get a credit limit over $5,000, that's going to be huge as far as utilization is concerned. And if you can't really change up your spending habits, that's going to weigh down on your credit score. And not only is it going to weigh down on your credit score, but it may also impact your ability to hit some of these bonuses, unless, again, they just modify the bonuses and they only offer you smaller bonuses because you can only put smaller amounts of spend on these cards. Another way this is going to impact us credit card people is you'll see that they mention that higher resilience individuals tend to have fewer active accounts and fewer credit inquiries. Well, if you're somebody like us who's opening up a lot of credit cards over the course of a year or even over the course of months, you're probably going to end up suffering with a lower resilience score, which again could put you in a really particularly bad situation as far as your resilience index score. So ultimately, I think this means denials will probably slightly go up, though I don't think it'll go up a huge amount, because you got to remember, lenders and credit card companies, they make money based on the amount of money that they can give out. So they don't want to just straight up stop letting people, get credit cards or loans or whatever, but they do really want to limit their risk. And so what we'll probably definitely see a lot more of is people getting smaller credit limits, which again is going to significantly impact utilization, which is going to be a little tough. And so as you can see, this is definitely going to have a huge impact on money lending as a whole. And the point of this is actually supposed to encourage these institutions to continue to lending money during a situation like we have today. And it's all supposed to be kind of within each individual institution's risk tolerance. So say, for example, normally under normal operating circumstances, like American Express would give the platinum card to people with 680s or higher. I know it's usually higher than that, but let's roll with me here. So let's say usually they would give a certain card to people with 680s, right? But then something happened and now they're like, nope, we're not giving anything to people with less than 700 credit score. Well, the idea is that the resilience index is supposed to say, well, this 680 actually has like a 99 resilience index score. So they're still pretty more likely to pay back the money that they borrow from you, so you can continue lending to them. And conversely, somebody with a 700 or 720 may have a low resilience index score. So now that 720 can't actually get the same thing that the 680 got. So in theory, this could actually be good for everybody. But you know what they say about good intentions. And so the problem FICO is essentially trying to solve is that when situations like we're in today with the pandemic, what typically happens is all the lenders get super tight with their money and they don't want to lend any money out. Well, when the economy is pretty much slowed and nobody's spending money, that just increases the problem and further slows down the economy, because if people can't get loans, people aren't spending that loan money, and therefore that money is not going into the economy. So they want to stop the financial institutions from just being so tight and indiscriminately tight with their money during these situations. But the problem is, this is supposed to help lenders and consumers during a time of crisis. But how do you think these financial institutions will actually use this new tool when we're not in a financial crisis? History says money corrupts. No, I'm just playing. But honestly, I just think it's going to be abused, and I think it's going to lead to a lot of gray area. And again, the reason I say I think denials aren't going to go up too high is because if they deny you, they have to specifically say, and I think if they just start saying, yeah, we denied you because you work in this industry, that's going to probably create some like discriminatory lending issues, and nobody wants that. What's interesting though is that this new tool from FICO is essentially a tool to encourage financial institutions to technically be a little more risky, since they would be lending money in a situation where they normally would be very tight with their money and very, very, very risk averse. So essentially, they have to put a lot of faith in FICO's tools in this whole resiliency index theory, because what they essentially did was they took data from the past and they said, yeah, based on our magic formula, if you would have lended out to these people, you'd have still been good. So we'll see. There's no set date for when, this whole FICO Resilience Index is supposed to be implemented into, actual lending decisions, but be on the lookout for it. So yeah, those are my thoughts on this new FICO Resilience Index and what I think this is going to look like for lending in general, and especially for us credit card enthusiasts and us points and miles travelers. Yeah, definitely something you might want to keep an eye on. If you all are very interested in this topic, I'll probably make several videos as I find more information on how this is actually being implemented. But with all that out of the way, let's get into the news that I said I have at the end of this video. So first, I like to go over how the subscriber shoutouts will work. So first, definitely this is a new subscriber thing. So I'm not like just picking random subscribers. I'm picking I'm shouting out the new subscribers. So when I get the notification that somebody subscribed and I can actually see their name, those are the people I'm shouting out. So if I can't see your name, I'm sorry. I don't know to shout you out, So that's that. And the fact that I record my videos. I record 2 videos in a day. So the first video I record is the one I'll actually have the shout outs in. And so this video, I don't have any shout outs because I've already did it in the other video I recorded today. So that's how that works. The other thing is I'm going to be filming in a new location, hopefully in the next video. So be on the lookout for that. I know we all can't really travel like that. So I want to bring a little bit of my, my special access to you guys, and hopefully you all enjoy it. I'm trying to incorporate it into the video somehow creatively, but I think you guys will like it. And also I have a big announcement. I am going to be launching the Points and Miles Academy video series. That's right, it's not like some sketchy course or something like that. It's just going to be a video playlist on the fundamentals of points and miles, since I know I launched this channel and got straight into the nitty-gritty and didn't really go over the fundamentals. But I want to go back and provide all of my subscribers and viewers in general with the content to learn the things that I had to put in a lot of research and time to figure out. And so I want to give that to you all. So it's going to be the Points and Miles Academy, and it's going to go over everything. If you have anything you want to see in that video series, be sure to put it in the comment section below of this video or my previous video, and I'll do whatever I can to make sure I implement it into the video series so that you guys can get the best information from the content. Yeah, so Points and Miles Academy video series coming very, very soon. But as usual, the only thing more valuable than your points is your money, and the only thing more valuable than your money is your time. But until next time, peace.